Hi, today we're going to talk about and show you how to practice the grid for the key of D major and D minor. So go ahead and tune up your ukulele and then grab your music sheet. It says grid scale pattern for D major and B minor. And so pause the tutorial, grab your music sheet. Hopefully you took a lot of notes on it, and tune up your ukulele and come on back. We'll get started in about a second. Okay, so you got your music sheet, you got your ukulele tuned up. We want to show you something first of all before we start. In some of the lessons I talked about being able to find your markers. So in other words, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, etc. You got it. Since we're covering so much more of the fretboard, it's a good idea to be able to recognize it easier by having markers. So like I said in another tutorial, what I did was I just put some markers on the top of my fretboard, so it helps me locate my frets: 3rd, 5th, 7th. Okay, so something to think about when you're working up the fretboard, because you know it helps to have it marked so you can see it. So as you're going up the fretboard, it's easier to spot your 3rd, your 5th, your 7th, you know, whatever it is you're marking, and have that resource available to you. In the previous tutorial, I talked about how to do it. If that's the route that you want to do, your own marking. If you got an expensive ukulele, you don't want to do it on your own, you can always take it to a professional, and they can probably do something. Although to me, I think it's going to be a little pricey, but you know. Okay, so you got your music sheet. I'm going to show you how to practice the grid. We're going to start. By the way, the fingering I'm going to be using is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the picking pattern, I mean, it varies for me, but you can use a thumb, first finger, middle finger. Some people use alternating fingers. I would say that would be more of an advanced player, like. But you decide on how it is you want to play. The main thing is that we get the notes correct, okay? And we're breaking up into sections. So I might say like first position or second position. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think in positions. I think of the whole grid, and that's what you want to be thinking of, the whole grid, how to use the whole grid as your resource to create melodic lines and play your fancy scales, etc. So before we can have that whole concept and resource under our belt, I think it's going to be easier if we learn it in sections and slowly just kind of wean yourself off of thinking it in sections. Just think about it. Okay, I'm playing in the key of D major or B minor. These are all my notes I'm going to play. You know, I like certain patterns that sound better to me, etc. Okay, so so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the D major basic position right there on the 2nd fret. So go ahead and get your paper. You're on the 2nd fret, 3rd string right here. And we're just going to play the basic D basic position. Ready? D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. And then you want to come back. So you want to be able to do that to and from, up and down, ascending, descending. Okay, we started off really simple because you already did the D major basic position. You know what, it should be really comfortable for you. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to the 2nd position, which is the E note, and this one we're going to go from E to E. Some of you folks who really just into the music and really ambitious, this would be a Dorian Mode. Okay, that's the 2nd modal scale in the major scale category. Now, if you're really interested in learning the modes, which is basically following scale patterns within a major scale, you want to look up on the internet or go to the library and look up modes that are from major scales, or modes and major scales. Okay, that's M-O-D-E-S, modes, or mode, singular. Okay, so the next one we're gonna do, by the way, I'm not gonna get too much into that. Okay, that's a whole nother story. But we're gonna go from E to E. So E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E. So that's the pattern we're gonna do. I'm just gonna call this the second position. For you folks who want to really get into it, it's the Dorian mode, but you know it's going to get kind of involved if I take that route. So if you want to learn that style of naming the scale, look up modes, M-O-D-E-S, and do some research on that. Okay, here we go. I'm going from E to E. I'm on the 4th fret on the 3rd string. Here we go. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E. Okay, let me give you the fingering what I'm doing. Okay, it's 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. That's what I'm doing. Some folks do like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It's up to you. You decide. But that's the fingering I'm doing. In fact, right now, pause the tutorial. You decide what it is you want to do. My fingering, fine. That other fingering I shown, fine. Or whatever fingering you're coming up with. Just keep in mind that you want to be comfortable. You want to be able to be fluent on it. So as long as it's not too unusual, I think you'll be fine. That's one of the great things about the ukulele. It's very forgiving because it's kind of a small instrument and you can kind of adapt to it with your own style. So pause the tutorial, you decide. We'll start in about a second. Okay, let's try it again. Second position, start from the E, go into an E. Here we go. E, F sharp, D, A, B, C, D, E. And don't forget to come back. High E, E, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, F sharp, E. Okay, and be able to go up and down. You go so ascending and descending, and be able to do it one time two. Okay. Next position, the 3rd position. We're going to go from F sharp to F sharp. Okay, this would be a Phrygian mode if you're on that route to learn modes, but don't concern yourself about that. We just call this the 2nd position working up. F sharp to F sharp. The pattern you're going to follow is F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. That's the pattern, okay, of the scale pattern we're going to do. Here we go. Starting with F sharp on the 6th fret, 3rd string, not too fast. F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G. Once again, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G. At this point, if you found that a little unusual, you need to pause the tutorial and figure out what fingering pattern you want to use for that. So if I'm using 1, 2, 4, next string down, I put my first finger on the B. 1, 3, 4. Next string down, just right underneath E. 1, 3, 4. Okay. If you're going to do something else, just keep in mind. When you go from the third string to the 2nd, start with your index finger, okay, on the B note. Okay, that's on the 2nd string. So after you finish doing the 3rd string, whatever fingering you want to do, make sure you put your index finger on the B note to continue the scale pattern. Okay, one more time. From the F sharp, 6th fret, 3rd string, here we go. F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G. Okay, I'm going to slow down here for a second. Now, if you're kind of messing up or getting a little confused or overwhelmed, slow down, pause the tutorial, start way back over here with the basic D position, get that comfortable. Okay, I know I'm moving kind of fast for some folks, And then once you got this comfortable, move on to the next position we talked about. Go at a speed that's comfortable for you. Make sure that you can go from E to E. Okay? You're going from E to E. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E. That's the next position. After you get that comfortable, go to the next position, which we just did. Make sure you got your fingering pattern worked out, what fingers you're using, and then go slowly and do that. There's one more position after that. It's on the 9th fret. I won't get into it too much, but basically it sounds a bit like this. Okay, so it starts on the 9th fret on the A note, so it's A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A. Okay, and that would be, let's see, that's your 1, 2, 3, that would be your 4th position up there. And then if you're getting into the modes, it'd be your Lydian mode. But it would start on the 9th fret, 3rd string, it'd be A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A. But I'm not going to get too much into that because not everybody has that many frets. But if you have a tenor, which is this, you can go on and do that scale. Don't forget to ascend and descend and be able to do it smoothly to and fro. So in other words, when you're practicing all these scales, what you want to be able to do is you want to go ascend. Okay? Now you don't have to do that fast, make sure it's smooth. Okay? Then you want to descend. So 1, ascend. Do it again. So you keep doing this. And then you want to descend. Again. Okay, then you want to do it with a pause. Pause, descend. Do it again. Okay, keep doing it. Pause. And eventually you want to do it to and fro. Ascend and descend, no pauses, one continued motion. Okay, so ultimately, that's what you want to do, is you want to be able to do it in all your practices. The final goal, final outcome is you want to be able to do it continuously without any pauses. Okay, so make that your goal, to do it ascending and descending without any pauses. Okay, so with that being said, and you want to do each section. Okay, so what's going to happen in the upcoming tutorial is that we're going to show you how to use the grid and how to play the grid. So before you go to the next section, you need to have gotten comfortable with this section, because it's going to be a little bit more interesting technique that we're going to be playing, and you have to have this down to be able to apply the technique. You can't be worrying about the fingering. Okay, so in other words, let's say I'm doing a technique from the E note, and you need to have that down, so when I show you the technique, you're comfortable with the notes where you can adapt faster. You don't want to be figuring out, okay, E, F sharp, G, A. No, you need to have that down before you get to the next tutorial, because when we start showing you the techniques on how to play it, how to use it, how to utilize the variations and creative technique to playing the grid and scales, you don't want to be held up with trying to figure out the scale patterns. Okay, with that being said, please listen to the tutorial several times. Definitely over multiple times listen to the tutorial, because as you listen to it, you're going to pick up different things, and you're not going to be able to grasp everything just listening to it once. Go at your pace, go slow, go smoothly, and then when you get comfortable, you should be able to do all the sections, at least do section 1, 2, and 3 fairly smooth. You don't have to worry about the last section, not unless you're really ambitious about it, and have the proper amount of frets to do it. But just make sure that you're smooth, you got the right notes. Speed is not a problem, don't worry about speed, and you just want to make sure that you understand it. Okay, and you are very comfortable with your fingering, where the notes are. Keep in mind location. In other words, know your markers. They really help. And then once you are comfortable playing correct notes, get a grasp on this whole section of the grid for D major and B minor. We'll see you for the next lesson where we show you how to utilize the techniques to make it sound even more interesting.